What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, deck of the month time. Mike Muller is going to be my deck of the month, his Water City deck. He went 6-1 at Roanoke, Virginia. That earned him a top 4 spot. And since we haven't seen a competitive city deck in probably like 2 formats since, Tell the Deadish era, I'm going to do this deck of the month. I love city decks. Quick shout outs to Russ Lepar, his top 8 at YCS Chantilly. So if you want to see more videos from Russ, check out my Wild West Garden video. Okay, it's a city deck, so cities are going to start with Neos Alius. He's a 1900 beater who's a Gemini and Light, so he pretty much just works with everything. He's an E-Hero too, so that works with Miracle Fusion and Stratos. Crusader, he's a Gemini, he's Light, he's a beater. You're going to want to use him. He's a beast. 2 copies of Gemini Lancer. He's from Phantom Darkness. He's a water Gemini. His effect is pretty irrelevant. 1800, 1400. Really serves no purpose in the deck other than to help you make Miracle Fusion live. And he can work with Gemini Spark too. So that works. 2 copies of Honest. You're going to run Honest because you run too many lights in this deck not to run Honest. It serves as off-field battle protection for your monsters. And Honest is just still really great. 2 copies of Cyber Dragon, baits out removal so that your Geminis can hit the field and people don't bottomless your absolute 0 and whatnot. Also is a beast in the Machina matchup, gets over a lot of Blackwings and Glads, so that kind of helps too. And it's light, and it's light, so works with Honest. 2 copies of Wildheart. Wildheart's actually really good in this deck for the simple fact that it gets around Bottomless, it gets around D-Prison, it gets around TT. You can activate your own TT, Mirror Force, stuff like that. It can just really help you get quick damage and even game-ending damage. Wildheart is really good. 1 copy of E-Hero Ocean. E-Hero is your 3rd water monster in the deck, so you pretty much have to run it. It's searchable by Stratos, and it's a E-Hero name, so that works with Miracle Fusion. There's also an off chance that it might stay on the field and you don't have Skill Drain active. You can get that +1. That's really nice. Get your Stratos back or something like that. Superman himself, Stratos, pretty much gets all the heroes in the deck and is a good beater. You're going to main Stratos in pretty much any deck that runs E-Heroes ever. 3 copies of Gemini Spark, your Swiss Army knife. This card serves as monster removal, magic and trap removal, draw power, basically anything. You wait for somebody to try and chain on it, you use it, get rid of one of your monsters if they've been targeted or the back row has been targeted, get a quick plus, get a draw. It's what makes city decks playable. 3 copies of Miracle Fusion. Dropping Absolute is still a bitch to deal with. If it doesn't get oppressed, you're still going to be whooping ass with this guy. Blackwings don't have a consistent answer to it. It hurts Infernities and X-Sabers tremendously if you get Absolute on the field. This card is just, Miracle Fusion's good. You're going to just run it and beat face. 2 copies of Book of Moon, staple, I'm not going to explain that. 1 copy of Future Fusion, really good. Drop a Gemini Lancer in the graveyard, drop a Neos Alius, potentially get it back with Ocean or with Hero Blast, and 2 turns later, you get a free Absolute, so that really works. Smashing Ground, just an answer to like random stuff like Spirit Reaper, Armor Master, Colossal Fighter, good removal. Rhoda and E-Call, they search out the heroes of the deck. MST, Magic and Trap removal. You can't use heavy in this deck because you play Oppression and Skill Drain and way too many back rows to play that. So MST is sole purpose, is Magical Trap removal, only card of that type in this deck. 2 copies of Skill Drain. Skill Drain is probably the most important trap in this deck. It serves, its purpose is basically to disrupt any deck that you're playing against that's not named Blackwings. It just rips Infernities and X-Sabers in half. It doesn't negate your own absolute 0. So as long as you don't get Dust Tornado, this card will probably single-handedly win you games. It's just flat out amazing. If you could run 3, you would run 3. D-Prison, it's staple against anything that's not Infernities. Infernities, it's really bad against Infernities and, I guess, Frogs, but in every single matchup other than those 2, it's just absolutely amazing. Bottomless is staple in any matchup, this format. He ran Trap Stun, obvious reasons. You don't want to get torrentialed and, basically anything that you would use my body on as a shield against other than a few monsters is what you're going to use Trap Stun. However, I would suggest replacing that with Solemn Judgment because, well, fuck it, I'm not going to explain why you should. I'm not going to explain why you should run Solemn in a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Hero Blast makes good use of dead Neos aliases. It makes a quick +1, and it can help you get through opponents' monsters. You know, stuff like spies and stuff like that. Stuff that your beaters really can't get over. 1 oppression. The tech oppression really works. You obviously don't want to use 2 because you're running Starlight Road. You're running 3 Miracle Fusions and 2 Cyber Dragons. You don't want to run crazy special summon negation. 1 is fine. It gets you that plus. If you have an absolute on the field, once you use that oppression, you're probably going to win. 1 Starlight, it can help you dodge that Mirror Force, that TT, the Black Rose, cards that are going to be used against you, especially Heavy Storm. Torrential and Mirror Force end out the deck. Those are staple. This deck is really good. Has real good matchups because of skill drain and 0. The only deck that is really hard for this deck is Black Wings. It's a bad matchup. Icarus Attack can just rape you. But it's good to see that city decks are still competitive. And that's why I covered this deck, because I hadn't seen anything like it in a very long time. So again, shout outs to Russell Parr on his top. Good job, Mike Muller, with the deck. And peace, YouTube. Stay frosty.